another episode of our show. As you all know, we had a great professors visit in our show. Even today, we have few of the finest professors visit in our show. Today, our theme is the Breastplate of Righteousness, and we're going to hear about their life of few missionaries, and they have faithfully lived a life for righteousness. So let's sit back and see what they have stored for us today. Without wasting any more time, let's give a round of applause and welcome to our show our first guest, Professor Joel Alex.
Good morning, everyone. Let me start off by saying that almost every Christian family knows about the famous missionary Watchman Nee by his books such as A Spiritual Man and A Normal Christian Life. But do you know about his life? He was born into a nominally Christian family and was converted to true Christianity at the age of 18. He gave up on any prospect of university education and gave himself completely to the Lord. He was the founder of one of the very first organized churches in China. However, right after his churches started spreading, the extremely anti-Christian communist government took over and they framed him as a criminal who was heading many anti-revolutionary programs. Right? Many members from his own churches turned to their side and made false allegations against him. He was sentenced to 15 years in jail. He was put through unimaginable torture, and he was also made to go through their so-called re-education. Despite all of this, when 15 years passed, the government gave him the option: just stop preaching. You don't have to give up on Christianity. Just stop preaching and we will let you go. However, Nee's answer to this was, no, I cannot do so because I can give no assurance that I will stop preaching. So the government extended his stay in the prison and he died a devout Christian at the age of 69. The only thing that was left behind was a piece of paper under his pillow that said, I died because of my belief in Christ. Right? So when we look at his life, we see a Christian who was faced with almost insurmountable odds. But by wearing the breastplate of righteousness, he was able to put away all the re-education and all the torture that came in the form of Satan's fiery darts. Let's also look at this life and uphold such values in our lives too.
Thank you, Professor, for that wonderful insight on one of the great missionaries of all time, Watchman Nee. Next, let's welcome Professor Rachel Percy.
Once a man said, how could I spend the best years of my life in living for the honors of this world when thousands of souls are perishing every day? I guess you all would have found out who that man was. It was the famous cricketer C.T. Studd. In 1883, Studd once went to hear D.L. Moody's speech. There, D.L. Moody spoke about our Lord Jesus Christ. So Studd, he got convicted, and 2 years later, he went to China as a missionary. There, he ate Chinese food, he learned Chinese language, he changed his tradition, all for the glory of God. There, all for the glory of God, he spoke with them, he mingled with them, and spoke about our Lord Jesus Christ. When he inherited a large sum of money from his father, he felt convinced to give to George Muller's orphan work and also for the missions, so that he could show the world that he did not rely on money but on a living God who was faithful to him. He trusted in God and offered his whole life to God, to God's work. He sacrificed his cricket, his traditions, and many more. He did what was right before the sight of God, and he guarded his heart with the breastplate of righteousness.
A cricketer to a missionary. What a life of sacrifice. Thank you, Professor. Now let's give a hand and welcome Professor Murta to our show.
So today I'm going to say about Graham Staines. Graham Staines was an Australian missionary. He came to India in 1965 and joined the Evangelical Mission of Mayurbhanj. He also established a leprosy home as a registered society in Mayurbhanj. And he also assisted in translating a part of Bible into the whole language. Ho is a language in tribal community in Orissa. And he got married to Gladys, and he has one daughter Esther and two sons Timothy and Philip. One night, he and his two sons were burnt alive by a gang of Hindu Bajrang Dal fundamentalists while sleeping at a station wagon on January 23, 1999 in Manoharpur village. But still the ministry continued. Gladys continued her leprosy ministry towards the lepers till she returned to Australia in 2004. In 2005, she was rewarded the fourth highest civilian honor in India, Padma Shri, in recognition to her work among the lepers. And in 2016, she was awarded the Mother Teresa Memorial Award for her social justice. In the midst of all trials and temptation, the ministry continued. The breastplate of righteousness covered the heart to love others even more and spread God's love among the needy.
What a sad end to a wonderful family, but their rewards are waiting for them in heaven. What a glorious hope we all have in Christ. Praise the Lord. We are almost running out of time. Let us welcome our last guest on the show. Let's put our hands together and welcome Professor Sneha.
Gladys Aylward, a small woman who did great things for God. Gladys Aylward's journey from an English maid to an I Wed Up, a virtuous one, involved a series of adventures. Gladys was born near London in 1902. After becoming a Christian, she felt she was called to go to China. She heard of an elderly missionary named Jeannie Lawson who required an assistant to work under her. So she saved what little money she had and brought a one-way train ticket to China. One day, the local mandarin placed an unusual offer before her. He wanted her to become the foot inspector. Gladys welcomed this opportunity to become more part of the community and witness Jesus Christ at the same time. The Mandarin sought her help again to help calm a riot at the local men's prison. Gladys entered the yard with the reminder that those who trust in the Lord have nothing to fear. When the war with the Japanese came in, Gladys decided that it was time to flee with the 100 children she had taken in. On foot, she safely led 100 children over the mountains and the Yellow River. Righteousness is possible only when we trust on our sovereign God. Gladys was a woman who trusted on God. She did what was right in His sight. Gladys Aylward's life in ministry was amazing, not just because she did all of it on her own, but because she accomplished so much depending entirely on the Lord.
A little woman doing great things for God. What a wonderful life of righteousness. Our righteousness are like filthy rags. But when we trust in God's righteousness, we can stand against the trials of Satan. I'd like to now call upon Professor Joel Alex to end the show with his last thoughts.
The greatest Christian soldiers in today's modern world are those missionaries who risk life and limb to save those poor people who don't know about the Christ. When faced with such adversities, it isn't fame, it isn't riches, it isn't even physical protection that they need the most. They wear the breastplate of righteousness to protect them from these dangers. Let us also learn from these exemplary 4 missionaries as we move onward in our Christian life. Thank you.
I hope we all enjoyed our show. Now for more information, contact Brother Ronnie G. Matthews.